All right, so I'm going to give you a really good example of how to illustrate this in your mind to help you understand about detachment. Okay, so you desire something. You have found something that you really, really want, and it's a job that pays $1 million per year. It's a CEO at a company that you want to work for, something like this, okay? You found that desire. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to cover some very important questions that have been asked from a previous video that I made about detachment, manifesting with detachment while still desiring your outcome, because there's a lot of people that are confused about this. They're asking these questions right here. How do I detach from my desire and want at the same time? How do they still desire it while detaching from it? And also, I'm going to give you an exercise at the end of this video to help you let go and detach from your outcome while still desiring it. While still desiring. This is very, very possible. And I'm going to give you an exercise on that at the end of this video. So these questions originated from when I covered chapter 24 from Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness. This covers failure. And what I did is I emphasized detachment. Detaching yourself from the outcome of your manifestation. Once you have found what you wanted, then you visualize it, and then you detach from it and then let it go at that point. You don't watch it. You don't watch your manifestation come to you and wonder how it's going to come. Detaching is visualizing it and then knowing that it's going to come and not caring whether or not you succeed or fail. And that's confidence within yourself. Okay. But I want to cover this in detail. So I'm going to cover these two questions right here. How do I detach from my desire and want it at the same time? Also, if desire is the mainspring of action, then doesn't that contradict detachment? Which is another really good question. Okay, so desiring something, like the first element of manifesting or creating anything into your world is first having the desire for it and knowing what you want. And what you do with this is still something you implement regardless of detachment later. But this is what you find in order to visualize in your imagination, in picture form, exactly what you want. So you use your desire, the first element. You find what you want, okay? I want this relationship. I want $3 million. I want $100,000. I want this house. I want this car. I want this business. I want this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want this. I want that. Whatever it is, you use this. You find out what you want, and then you visualize this, okay? Either you can use affirmations if you want, but you have to have the first element in order to find what you want, okay? And which I think is relevant is what Neville Goddard says right here. The fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine yourself to be is the secret of your failure, okay? The naturalness of it. Because if you have an attachment to the desire, you're pushing it away, okay? So now you're living in the three-dimensional world. You're in the hologram. Your matter trying to change matter at this point, like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, matter cannot change matter, okay, in the quantum field. Okay, so you must detach from it and associate yourself with so much confidence that you already feel that you have it. And even if it doesn't work out, you have 10 other things, 10 other avenues you can go to. So you have this confidence and you're detached from the outcome. And what that does is it connects you to the thing. Now the subconscious mind is now tricked to believe that you already have this thing because you've already seen it. You've already visualized it. You use desire, you find out what you want, and then you visualize it, or you affirm for it, or you're affirming all day long. You're doing all these things that are creating this mental picture in your mind that you already have it, and then you let it go. You detach from it, and then this creates the naturalness of you already being it, because you have raised your conception of yourself to not caring whether you have it, because once you have something, you no longer care about having it because you already have it. You're already detached from it. So detachment equals results. It equals you already having the thing desired. So you're connecting yourself with this detachment. But I just don't want people to get confused with the desire. How can I want something and not want something at the same time? You use your desire. You're wanting it first to locate what you want. That's it. That's all you do with your desire. You locate what you want, and then you create an affirmation or a script form, or you visualize it before you go to sleep. That your desire for it is just to get your imagination right. You don't use that desire for the three-dimensional world, because once you visualize something or you're affirming something, you're falling asleep as a new person. You no longer have free will anymore to act in your three-dimensional world, because the inner world, the subjective world, is now going to take control of your personality, and it's now going to go get this thing or bring it to you. There's going to be certain things that are going to start to happen, and you're not going to be attached to that's what puts you in this state, okay? It's what keeps you in the state of receiving. You're in the state of receiving when you're in the state of detachment. You're no longer attached to the result of this thing, because once you're attached to the result, I got to have this thing, I want this thing so bad, you're telling the subconscious mind that you don't have it, and it's going to push it away. It's going to put barriers in front of you because you're trying to, every step you take, it's taking 2 steps away from you. But once you detach yourself, you're telling the subconscious mind that you now have the thing. So then it starts to be brought to you. It starts to be brought to you, but there may be things that you're going to be required to do and take action, but you're going to do it not caring about the result of it because you already have the thing. You're detached from it. You already have it. And even if it doesn't work out, you have 10 other things that you know you can have. All right, so I'm going to give you a really good example of how to illustrate this in your mind to help you understand about detachment. Okay, so you desire something. You have found something that you really, really want, and it's a job that pays $1 million per year. It's a CEO at a company that you want to work for, something like this, okay? You found that desire. But there's 10 other jobs that are very similar to that are paying the same exact amount of money. Maybe sometimes even more, maybe 1.2 million, 1.5 million. There's 10 other jobs that want you to work for them. But you want this one job, okay? You want this one job that pays 1 million. For whatever reason, you want to work for this specific company, but there's 10 other companies that want to hire you, and some of them are even willing to pay you more money than 1 million a year. Okay, so you've located your desire. You want to work for this company. So in your imagination, you're going to sleep and you're creating this visual scene in your imagination. You're going to sleep at night. You're picturing yourself, your family congratulating you. Oh, you're working for this company, Nike, or whatever it is, whatever company it is. You're now working for this, and you're seeing your family congratulating you, and you're now living this life working for this company. So you fall asleep with this, okay? But then you wake up the next day, but you're like, okay, I really want to work for this company. I felt it. I know it's coming because I know that the subjective world is the real world. My imagination is the real world, and I've already seen the end. And there's 10 other jobs. There's 10 other companies that want me to work for them. And some of them even want to pay me more money. So I'm not attached to this one job. I'm not attached to this one job at all. Even if they don't want me, I don't care. I have 10 other opportunities, 10 other companies that want to hire me, that some are even paying me more money. So in this type of scenario that you've worked out in your imagination, you no longer have attachment to this job. Yes, you would like to work for them, but there's 10 other companies that want you to work for them too. And some are even paying you more money. So you're not attached to that. But what's going to happen? Is you're still going to get that job. You're going to get that job. They're going to call you like within a week or within a day or something's going to happen. Okay, something's going to happen where they're going to reach out to you and they're going to be like, we really want you to work for our company. We want you to come in for an interview. We don't need your resume or anything. We already know all about you. We want you to come in. We want to hire you today. And all of this is going to happen because you are in the, like Neville Goddard says right here, the naturalness of receiving. The naturalness of receiving, visualizing the end, feeling the end, living and falling asleep with that end, and then detaching yourself. So when you woke up in the morning, you have this detachment. If I don't get this job, whatever, I got 10 other companies that want me to work for them. You know, I already have all these other things going on. I have this confidence within me that I don't care whether I get the job. I want it, but I don't really want it. I don't care whether I get it or not, but I really, really want it. But that is the job that I want. But if I don't get it, whatever, I don't care. And even in the event that you don't have these 10 other jobs that want you, you can make this all a part of your imaginal act, that all of this is happening. You're creating this confidence within your imagination that even if there aren't 10 other jobs, in your imagination, there is. And you have that feeling when you fall asleep that you want this job, you're desiring this job, this one singular job that you really, really want. You're feeling the end, your family's congratulating you, but in the back of your mind, you're also creating the feeling of 10 other companies that want to hire you. So this creates the detachment from the result, and actually you're making a psychological journey now in the subconscious realm, in the real world, in your imagination. Now you have no barriers, because a lot of times when you're creating an imaginal act, you just can't believe it. Like you can't get there. You can't travel there psychologically because you just can't believe that somebody would want to pay you that much money because you don't have confidence in yourself. But once you create this feeling state that you have all these other companies that want you to work for them, Apple, Google, all these other companies, they want to hire you too. And you have this in your mind, be like, wow, I am really important. I'm very, very confident. And this job is underneath those other jobs. But I want this job. It's okay. I really like this job. I want this job. But you're creating this imaginal feeling of confidence that everybody wants you, that everybody wants you. And what this does is it pushes a different version of you out into the hologram of space. And then you're going to travel to these different parallel realities where everything's going to line up. You're all of a sudden going to wake up. You're going to start waking up earlier. You're going to want to exercise. You're going to want to do this. Your entire personality is going to change because you're going to start developing this new confidence within yourself. You'd be like, wait, I'm not going to sleep in. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to live a structured life. I want to do this. I want to do that. And before you know it, you're getting all these phone calls. All these things start happening in your life. People are coming up to you when you're going to the store. They're like, there's just something about you. There's just something about you. I want to hire you. I want to use you. I want to talk to you. I want to converse with you. There's something about this person that is just magnetic. Okay. And you create this magnetic being that's attracting all of these things to you because you have this level of confidence that you fell asleep with, this version, this feeling state that you've now submerged yourself in, that everybody wants you. All these companies want you to work for them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a company. This can be relationships. This can be just money or something that you want, a house, a car, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your world. This is the idea, okay, of detachment, of desiring something, but still having detachment because you have options. Everybody wants you. Everybody wants you in the world, okay? Everybody wants to hire you. Everybody wants to be with you. And you're falling asleep with this feeling. Like, yes, I want this one relationship, but 100 other people want me. 100 other people want me in relationships, so I'm not attached to this one specific person. And you're falling asleep with that feeling state. But what ultimately happens, though, is you're going to get that relationship. That's the relationship you're going to get, though. You're going to get that relationship because you have this certain mindset and you're falling asleep with this specific feeling state of having options, of having all these other people that want you, all these other companies that want to hire you, all these other people that want to give you money or whatever it is that you're trying to create. You have all these other options. So this thing, this one person or this one company is now not on it. You're not putting it on a pedestal, looking at it from way down here, looking at, oh, I got to have this. I have to have this in my life. You no longer feel that way. So now you are detached and you have let go of it. Because even if that doesn't work out, you're no longer holding it on a pedestal. Now it's down here below you. And now you're looking down upon it. Like, oh, this is good, but I have all this. Anyways, even if it doesn't work out, I have so much confidence, okay? So and what this ultimately does is it creates the natural state of receiving. You're now in the natural state of receiving your original desire. So that's where desire and detachment come in, and they actually work together in unison as a team. They actually conform together with each other, is because your desire is locating what you want. Okay, you locate what you want. I want this relationship. I want this job. I want this much money. I want this house. I want this car. Okay, you've figured out what you wanted. Okay, that's the mainspring of action to use in your imagination, in the real world. Okay, you remember your hologram is not the real world. Okay, so you're not planning to take all this action before you do your inner work. Inner work comes first. That's the real world. You don't attack your world without first attacking the inner world, because once you attack the inner world, you lose free will, and then you become a different version of you. Then that version attacks your physical world. Okay, the inner world is the real world. Then that version of you that you've just changed within you is then projected out. And then it starts working on the physical realm and starts creating all this, and everything just starts coming to you because you're a magnetic being now. You've changed your version of yourself, whether that is someone that works hard or someone that doesn't have to work for money. Whatever version of you that you want to create in the inner world, that's what's going to be projected out. So then we go back to Neville Goddard's words here, and I'm going to re-explain this and break this down with detachment, okay? So the time it takes your assumption or your desire to come into a reality into your life, or your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of you feeling of already being what you want to be. Detachment, the naturalness, the detachment of the result, and having this confidence that you have all these other options. And that's when the naturalness comes into place. Everything comes into being within your imagination as you're falling asleep. You no longer have this desire for it because you already have it. Desiring something is to locate what you want, okay? You have to desire it in order to locate and to desire to want anything. To find something that you want, you have to desire something, okay? That's what you find that you want. But once you go into your imagination, you're now detaching from the outcome of your desire, because once you already have it, because this is the law of assumption, once you already have something, you're assuming that you already have it, you no longer have the desire for it because you already have it. So then you're detached from it. The desire is just finding what you want. Originally, in the physical world, in the hologram, you're locating what you want. You're looking at different things. You're looking at pictures of things. You're analyzing different things. I want this relationship. Oh, this person's very attractive. This job wants to pay me a lot of money. This car is so awesome. And this truck and this house, I want it. You're looking at the physical realm, finding out what you desire. Then you're taking all that information and then going into the real world, which is the inner world, and then detaching from it. Seeing it as done in the imagination, changing your concept of yourself, your version, your personality, creating this new version of yourself, falling asleep with this new version of yourself, already having that. Because once you feel it, when you're using the law of assumption, you're taking a psychological journey to the end and feeling the end, so you no longer are attached to it. You're no longer attached to the result of it. You now have it. And that is the law of assumption. That's a secret to manifestation. Is you already have it. Once you already have something, you no longer want it. If you have 10 Ferraris, if you already have 10 Ferraris in your 20 car garage, you no longer want a Ferrari. You already have 10 of them. So you're not attached to the result of having a Ferrari. You already have it. It's already in your garage. You already own 10. So this is the law of assumption. You already assume that you have 10 Ferraris in your garage. That's the feeling that you have to have no matter what you're creating. But the desire and the detachment come within the physical realm and then the imagination. The artificial world, which is the physical world, the hologram, the high-tech simulated game you're living in, that's where you locate what you want, because this is all just a game. The hologram and the high-tech simulated game you're living in is designed to experience and live a fulfilled life. It's not the real world. It's you being projected out. Who are you? What is the feeling that you have, that you are, the things that you already have, the things that you deserve to have? How do you truly feel about yourself? Where's your confidence level as you're falling asleep, impressing the subconscious mind? Who are you and what do you deserve to have? Then that's projected out into the hologram, the high-tech simulated game, which it will create everything in the middle, everything you're feeling of who you are and what you deserve to have and your confidence levels. Those are all the things that are going to be created and brought to you in this hologram, okay? But it all starts from the inner world. The inner world is what is projected out into the screen of space. And when you change your version of yourself in the imagination, you're being a different person as you're falling asleep, and even throughout the day, imagining yourself, feeling yourself to be doing things that you would be doing had you already been, or you were the person that you wanted to be. You are now that person. You're living that life in your imagination day in and day out. You are this completely different person in your imagination. That will eventually, once the naturalness occurs and you're detached from it, you're completely detached from it and the naturalness occurs, that will be created into your 3D space. Your entire world will shift and change. You'll look back at your old world and it'll be so surreal to you. Your life now is going to be so surreal. You're going to be like, wow, this is so crazy that how my life shifted and changed. So I didn't even think this world could even exist, in the hologram. But anything is possible in the hologram, but it all depends on who you are in the inner world, because that's what's being projected out. And it's very similar to what Neville Goddard says right here in The Power of Awareness. Progress can spring only from your imagination, from your desire to transcend your present level. What you truly and literally must feel is that with your imagination, all things are possible. And as we know, and what quantum physics and quantum mechanics shows now in the quantum field, is that imagination is the real world. And whatever you feel with your imagination as the person you're being is being projected out into the screen of space and is changing things. The way you look at your world changes it, and that's coming from inside of you. You know, the things in your world start to change when you start observing them differently, and you have a different mindset, and then it's being projected out and then changing the things in your world. Then the physical world actually shifts. It's not just a tricky play with words, but it actually changes and shifts your world. And people change, objects change, your world changes. Everything just starts to shift once you change the inner world. The inner world is so important to change. All right, so for the exercise that I want to give you to help achieve this detachment while desiring something, it kind of goes along the lines of everything I just went over in this video. That should help you a lot. But I'm going to give you an exercise, like for example, with the company that I was telling you that you want to work with. That example that I gave you, working with a company, but yet you have 10 other companies that also want you to work for them. Okay, so in your imaginal acts, I want you to do this. So whatever you are creating, I want you to imagine this and take this into your feeling state and your imaginary conception of self when you're creating these visual acts, and create a conception of yourself that is so confident and has all these other options and all these other companies or all these other relationships or all this other money that's out there that wants you, So you're creating all this feeling state within your imaginary act. So you're no longer desiring this and you're putting it on a pedestal way up here and be like, oh, I only have this one option. I have to visualize it just right. I have to go there. I just can't believe it. You know, all these things happening in your mind. Get away from that. Create 20, 100 other options. You have an infinite amount of other options. And where this job or this relationship or this or this or this is really just way down here. It's actually not up here. It's actually down here. And that what you'll find is you're now taking this psychological journey that you're taking has now become very simple. And now because you don't have on this pedestal, you know, where you're forcing it, you're going against the current. Now you're in the stream going downstream because you're no longer putting it on the pedestal. Now it's down here and you have an infinite amount of other options, whatever, you know. So you're creating this feeling state. It's much easier. You're going to this you're taking the psychological journey now that's much more simple because you can actually believe it to be true because you have all these other options. So create these other options, just that feeling of it. What would that feel like? You know, maybe being congratulated by getting all these imaginary phone calls or imaginary letters or emails. You know, you're creating all these create the outline of the feeling state of being loved and wanted by everyone, and do this in your imaginary acts as you're falling asleep, and this will absolutely help you to get to that next level of confidence within yourself and being deserving of these things coming to you in your world. And that's because everything stems from that feeling that you have as you're falling asleep. Who are you as a person? Are you deserving? Are you confident? Do you deserve all these relationships? Do you deserve for people to love you? Do you deserve for all these companies to want you to work for them? You have to really take this in, and that's the feeling state you have to have. You have to cover all those specifics like this. You know, really go over that. Who am I right now? And then change that as you're going to sleep. And then your personality and conception of yourself will evolve as you go to sleep. And then you trick the subconscious mind. So when you wake up in the morning, you're now going to have a whole new feeling state of confidence in yourself, and you're going to act differently. You're going to react differently. You're going to do things in your world that are going to completely change. And this is when you're going to start noticing it. You're going to start noticing your personality changing, you know, during the day. When you wake up in the morning, you're going to be doing different things. You're not going to no longer want to be on TikTok all day. And if it's somebody that lives at their parents' house and they're 30 or 40 years old, they're going to no longer want to live there. They're going to be like, what am I? You're going to wake up in the morning and be like, why am I living with my parents' house and I'm 40? You know, they're going to wake up in the morning and they're going to be like, oh, I got to get a job. I got to do this. I want to go back to school. I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start creating content. I want to start reading books. You know, I want to start exercising. I want to get healthy. I want to do this. I want to have a family. I want to have a relationship. You know, all these things are going to start happening. You're going to start noticing all these changes. You're no longer going to want to be in the situation that you are in now because you're now a different person. projecting a different world, and then your world's going to start shifting and changing. Doors are going to start opening. You know, your phone's going to start ringing. All these things are going to start happening. But that's essentially the way to do it. I mean, if you wanted everything in a nutshell with detachment and desiring something and how the inner world works and is projected out into space, I mean, this exercise here can completely change your life if you do it. You really start working on this and really start going in your imagination and making these changes within yourself, and then falling asleep with this. You can do affirmations too. They work. You know, I just find visualization to be a little bit more specific and accurate, and it can be a little bit more powerful, you know, with the visualization, because you're actually skipping the middleman. You're not just saying something, you're actually visualizing yourself, because affirmations, they create pictures in your mind, but you're not creating the picture yourself, like manually, you know, creating this specific scene yourself. So with affirmations, when you're saying, I am now worth, you know, $30 million, your imagination is automatically picturing you with $30 million or something similar to that. It's automatically popping up in your mind when you're saying that. But if you're actually visualizing yourself being congratulated yourself, you're skipping like the middleman. You're going straight to your imagination, creating your own visual scene and feeling states without, you know, any error that may occur with the blocks that you have, you know, things like that with affirmations. But affirmations do work as well, and so does scripting. But visualization can sometimes be the best, or if not always be the best. But developing those visualization skills can be another battle for a lot of people to be able to focus like that. But I also have different meditations that you guys know that I have on the channel, like the leaf exercise, that can develop your visualization skills. But anyways, that's the end of the video, guys. I love you, and I hope this answered those questions, which I think that it did. But leave any other questions that you have, and I'll bring some more. I'll create some more videos to answer more questions. So leave your questions, because I'm going to start doing that, start answering more questions. So leave those in the comments, and then I will cover those questions in the future, in future videos. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.
Is not there. I go into these states